Hello, good morning, good morning. Wherever you're doing the listening, wherever you're doing the watching, good morning and welcome to Peny Radio and Peny GH. It is another wonderful Wednesday and it's the midweek. You're welcome to Random Thought with Maxine, right here live in the studios of Peny Radio and Peny GH. Today we're live on YouTube. And we're also live on Peny Radio. It is a beautiful, beautiful morning. If you're not joining us, you're welcome. This is Random Thought with Maxine, and today is a Wednesday. Maxine is here at the studio. Alright, before I welcome Maxine, wherever you're doing the watching or doing the listening, you can be a part of this program by sending in your comments. If you're watching on YouTube, send your comments in the chat session. If you're doing the listening on radio, Peny Radio, you can share with us on WhatsApp 0543829571. Share the video for someone to join. Alright, so Maxine is here in the studios. Let's welcome Maxine wherever you are.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Of late, one of these days, I'll be coming with Dondo and things. Just to announce my presence, I'll be coming with Dondo and things. Good morning to all my lovely listeners. It's always a pleasure connecting with you. It's Wednesday, midweek vibes. I'm fine. Hope you are doing same. Whatever it is that you are going through, know that Charlie is only for a season. Know that it's only for a season and that things will get better. I mean, things do not look too good for you, but trust you me when I say things will get better, because on Peny Radio, you know how we do it. It's not like we are always full of hope. There are times that we don't have hope, but we still remember that we have hope in no other person than Christ, and He's our solid rock, and He does not leave or forsake. So just hang in there a little more. Just hang in there and know that Bibi are very fine, okay? So I'm back. Hey.
Yeah. She's back and Bibi are very fine.
You're fine, crazy.
Alright, so this is how we do it. It's a Wednesday and you can't blame us, okay, for making noise.
We survived Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. We survived the others too. Yeah.
So we are back in your ears.
Hey.
Let's make some noise.
That's it.
All right. So Maxine, what are we talking about?
So there was this time I was telling you that on Wednesdays my whole agenda is to make the discussion more livelier, okay, so that we can get talking more and more. So this morning I was just looking through the previous episodes I have done, especially with all those who have connected with us for the past few months, and I just went to one episode and I think that I missed one or two steps to that episode. And so why not visit the steps that I skipped, okay, so that we can have a conversation around the skipped steps. So we are doing the steps, and I know you are wondering what exactly did we miss, what steps did we miss, which particular episode. Please connect with us, and for all those who have been connecting, tell someone to also connect with us, and let's have just a wonderful time this Wednesday. So do you remember my wedding questions, that episode? I quickly had to tell you how my weekend went because I had an opportunity. So this is just me running you through some tiny details of what went down in that particular episode. So I had to MC a wedding and all the observations I made with regards to guest lists, who should come for your wedding, and how people misbehave during weddings like that. So I'm like, okay, cool. We've already spoken about the event proper, that is the wedding, and what goes into it, because you know how it is. Like, once it's your big day, we don't want anything to mar the process, mar the beauty of the occasion. So we are thinking, what else can we do better so that the occasion looks like just like we planned, or just like we hoped it turns out. But there's one or two steps that we skipped, just getting to the big day, and this is what we are going to discuss this morning. Our topic for discussion is how we met. I know your ears is doing you tingling, but that's the whole idea. So we'll just get down to business, and then we'll talk. Okay, so as part of the things I enjoy about weddings, especially working from a point of view as an MC, is the reception and the part that says proposal of toasts. And for me, I'm always excited when the groom gives every single detail as to how they met their bride. And you know how it is, like, it's more or less like a conventional. It's the groom who tells us how he met the bride, and that's what we know. That has been the practice ever since. I mean, weddings are part of our lives now, and that's it. But for me, I just look at this conventional way of how the groom tells us how he met his bride, and I'm thinking, on my wedding, I'm going to flip the coin. So me now, to no bride, I will do half of the story, and then my husband will continue. I mean, it's cool. So we'll sit down, plan which area to start from, early stages, how the whole thing went down, and just like you have a script, we'll divide it into part A and part B. Husband take part A, wife take part B, for the story to be beautiful. Somebody is thinking, why do you even want to invest in the story? Does it even matter how the people know how you met? For me, it matters because I enjoy it. It's like it gives you a chance to know how people meet each other. Okay, some of the stories are captivating, some of the stories are breathtaking, some of the stories are refreshing. Like, you get to hear stories and like, okay, people still can find groom here, people still can find brides on Facebook. So there was this one, I mean, I was part of the bridal train, and the groom says he found the wife on Facebook. He just sent a friend request, and simple Frenchman will say, oh la la, it was that easy. And we all think of Facebook and like, hey, people still find love here. Are people for real? These are virtual friends, we don't even know them. You can't even dig through their past and find out if they are really for real and all that. So you know the part of me that likes the story, and I am not too happy when grooms go like, see me in chamber, that thing I don't want to hear. It's either you say it or you don't say it, or you give email address www.com something. I don't like that one. So I am always of the opinion that if you don't want to tell us the story, we would respect it. But you know, even from an MC's point of view, you know how you engage your audience, and you are like, should he sit down? They're like, no. Do you want to hear more? They're like, yes. So even the audience kind of like the vibe when a groom is all generous with information as to how they met their bride. And sometimes they are not even too happy when you do www.com or see me in chambers, because you are thinking this is just a nice opportunity. But you see, people differ, individual differences. For all you know, the groom in question is not really the talking type, so they would want to reserve that part. But there are some too who are very diplomatic about it. They'll just say, oh, so we met at a friend's wedding, and this is the beautiful story you are seeing now. Those ones too are not bad in itself. But the www.see.me thing is what me, I don't like. So apart from experiencing all the nice stories as to how people met, and it's further translating into they settling that this is my husband, or this is the woman I want to spend the rest of my life with, there's also a part that I enjoy listening to people's stories as to how they met. It's bridal digests, weddings on points, those one. So if I am on Instagram, or if you are on Instagram, you know there are a lot of people who are into weddings, and they do a feature of how people met. And for me, I totally would spend all my credit listening to stories, because some of the stories are really, really interesting. There are those who lost contact, didn't even know they can connect, and for some weird reason, divine intervention, I would say, they meet again, and that's it, and all that. And these stories bring us back to our own lives. For some of the stories they share, it is just a significance of hope for people who are probably have lost the whole idea, or have lost the whole feel that they can find people. So it's still encouraging, is just in the bid to encourage somebody that don't give up on love. You might find that person. And so you know me now, the wedding bit of groom and bride sharing their stories, me subscribing to Bridal Digest, Weddings on Point, Wedding Guests Digest, and all that, to just get a feel of how people met. And it is what I like. I don't know about you, but if you don't even fall in the category of going through me asking you to subscribe to a wedding channel, I'm sure you also enjoy the wedding reception bit when the groom tells us how they met the bride. But this morning there is a question. I'm like, so all these people met A, B, and C. They met through friends, they met through church service, they met through meetings, they met in churches, and some are really interesting. But the question is, when I have an honest conversation with most of my friends who are not married, I think most of the things we get to hear most often is that it's difficult finding a man. Hey, marketing says, no, it's like everybody's married, you know. And it's difficult finding a man. We can't find one. Hey, then sometimes you are wondering, so all these stories people share with us as to how they met grooms and vice versa, how men also met their brides. How come we don't meet some men on Facebook? How come we can't meet some people, nice people in Trotro? How come we can't just bump into Prince Charming on our way to the market? How can't we just get somebody stopping their car and saying, I like you, can you be my friend? And that's a question a lot of people who are not married and are finding or are trying to find the man or the one have struggles with. My question this morning is it difficult finding a man in these days and era? Are you finding it difficult to find somebody? And so people will say that, oh, you are not going out, you should go for a year and things, go for outdooring, go for things, do a night out with the girls, you meet people. My answer to this question is it difficult finding a man, is that for me, I honestly think it is not difficult. I don't know what you think, but I have given it a deeper thought. I have gone through reasons why I think it's not difficult finding a man now. See, men and women of today have checklists and standards. We all do. Dominic is married. Once upon a time, he had a checklist. I am not married, but I have a checklist and I have a standard. And I don't know to say if some of the checklists and standards we have are unrealistic. But don't get me wrong, there is nothing wrong with having a standard. There should be a standard. And so people will make jokes when you are nearing 30, 34, 35 and you are not finding a man, then you start lowering your standard, because all the things on your checklist are becoming unrealistic now, and you have to bring the marking scheme down. That's somebody's point. I hear guys make fun of things like, you be there and be doing checklists and standards. Now the ratio is 3 to 1 man. If you don't look sharp, there are girls who are fighting to have us in their homes, so look sharp. And I'm thinking, is it because the men think it's difficult finding them, so every woman must settle and kind of like drop their standard? There is absolutely nothing wrong with having standard. The standard is just to say that I know myself, this is what I want, or this is what I can deal with, or this is what I think I need in a man. So the standards sets the tone for you to know what kind of person you are entertaining and want to live the rest of your life with. Remember on Monday I told you I like dark men. That's one thing on my checklist. But you see, most often than not, we are too much engrossed in our standards and on our checklist that we fail to look at other things. Why do I say that? So you are saying, okay, so I need a man who has a doctorate. And you get a man who is doing his doctorate and you're saying, oh, he's boring. So I need a man who is gainfully employed. So you meet this young man, he meets your checklist, he's enterprising, he's doing something for himself. Then you go like, okay, he's doing something for himself, he looks very level-headed, but he is, I don't like the way he dresses. You meet somebody, you know, upon interaction, he's a good man, he's a good girl, somebody you can build a future with. But you are thinking, okay, he doesn't put on, or he's not somebody that I think my friends will like. Our checklists and our standards are sometimes unrealistic. So I know somebody who says things like, if the person is not a graduate, is not fancy, is not Catholic, I am not marrying the person. And the person still says it's difficult finding a man, because there's a standard for us that sometimes does not feel realistic. Realistic because you can't get everything in one man. God in his infinite wisdom will give you things you can work with. So there are things that ordinarily you are thinking the person must have a degree because I have a master's. But how about, okay, the person is gainfully employed, there is prospect that he is smart and he can go back to school. Must there be a doctorate? Must earn X amount of money, must have this in their bank account before we settle? And unfortunately, there are good guys, good girls all around us, and we are failing to acknowledge that he is around, she is around, and we are going round in circles saying that it's difficult finding a man. And we have bought into that whole cliche. And then the idea marketing, but you know that on your contact list there's this guy who is starting you like that, and you are thinking, oh, she doesn't speak good English, so the grammar. And I know a friend who said that the first time he interacted with the guy, oh, he's good, he's on point, he's gainfully employed. The guy, where they were just talking about football, and the guy said, so Brazil. So just by the mention of Brazil was just what turned the lady off. Hey, there is one lady too who says that he can't just stand it when the guy said, instead of guy saying panty, he says pinty. And so the saying of the pinty is what? The standard that you cannot roll with me. There are ladies who also, I know somebody, I actually like men with deep voice, okay? So when you call me, I want to be hearing things like, hello Maxine. But there's this few times I have had some guys around who say, hello Maxine, how are you? And I was thinking, this voice is too shrill. Like, I don't need a guy with a shrill voice. But somebody's thinking, are you serious? Shrill me, they worry. And you know, we are petty. We are dragging issues that do not have to be dragged. We are looking at things that are just not the correct variables that we need to make ourselves settle for a life partner. There are people we have ignored their calls, but you know that guy has potential. But you think that it is okay singing the whole song of men are or women are difficult to come by. The men too would want the slave queen's wife, and still would want them to be Proverbs 31 women, cook, clean, do all the necessary stuff. And you want all that in one woman. Hello? Just like we the women will say that, oh, if you don't have a car, or some women will say that if you don't have X amount in your account, if you are not living in, how does where somebody lives become topmost priority on your checklist? I know people who say like, no, it has to be East Legon, it has to be a DB area, It doesn't have to be Newtown, but once upon a time, people lived in Newtown and they moved to East Legon. Hallelujah. We have stopped looking at what it means to settle for potential, and we are just diving in the sea of unrealistic assumptions and expectations. Thankfully, people are doing a lot of all the soap operas, which kind of like gives us an idea as to who an ideal man is. And it's a facade. It's not true. I speak now, and people have lost the opportunities of connecting with people that they could have married just because of things that per their standards must be on the list. For me, there are some things on my checklist that is non-negotiable, and I think everybody should have the non-negotiable items on their list. But there are some things that we can work around, and I must say there are things that are workable. So I have a friend I was talking to yesterday, and she was just honest about it. She said, Maxine, when I was settling with my husband, I thought he was just too reserved, calm, not proactive and all that. And I kept telling him that, see, I will not entertain mediocrity. Just yesterday we were talking, said, Maxine, my husband has changed. He's taking steps that I am shocked. He's taken actions that I thought that ordinarily he wouldn't have. So imagine that I still looked at that part of him that looked reserved and was not too willing to take up responsibilities, and said, for this reason, I don't think I want to marry you. I want to start a relationship. This is a man who has started being proactive. People grow over time. Your checklist must be revised. Just like you can play music and rewind. Can you rewind that song again? Can you look at the things that really matter? Because then, and we're doing the TikToks, the good English, the six packs, the nice face, the fanboy no pimples. But now it's a new dispensation. Maybe the one who is tattling you is not fanboy, but he's somebody who speaks wisdom. He's knowledgeable. He's somebody who has prospect. The unfortunate thing is that we are paying too much attention to that childhood checklist that we are failing to see potential. We are failing to see that there is a groom all around you. You don't have to look far. We are failing to look that there is a bride, that girl who is all serving, who is always knowing what is wrong with you, checking up on you. You are there looking at slay queen with Brazilian hair, when that person has not even checked up on you in 3 months' time. That person only checks up when they need something, and you think that lady is bottom araba, so you don't like. Hey brother, shall we be you? But that is the truth, and the truth sometimes is a difficult and a hard pill to swallow. I have witnessed people lose the love of their lives just because we had concentrated our minds. We are fixated, that's the word. We are fixated on some standards. Standards are good, have them. But sometimes you know that there are those that you know that it needs modification. It needs to be revised. Do you want to look at that list you have in your head? You are listening right now. Do you want to look at that list that you think, no. I know people who said, oh, there's no way I'm going to marry a hairdresser. They are married to hairdressers now. Just looked beyond just looking at a hairdresser. They just looked beyond, minus the person being a hairdresser. Is there something else they are bringing to the table that you know will help you as an individual or help the both of you? We speak out of experience. And sometimes we pray to God about the same intention, and the God of truth will just be telling us, my daughter, if you can just look around you, look no further. Just look no further. So I'll tell you a story of my friend who had a broken heart. She was in a gym. You know how it is, those back and forth ones. And then when you did 2 hours or 4 hours, now it was those back and forth thing. And she just needed to put her act together. So from nowhere, another issue arose, and this time around it wasn't an issue that she was willing and ready to salvage. She said that wabre. And we all get to that point where you are dealing with somebody that they are not pulling their weight, they are just causing you wahala day in day out. So she just took a firm decision, forgot about all those years she had invested in that relationship, and said it's time to move on. And sometimes it's okay to pinch yourself and say, damn, the number of years I have invested in this thing, I deserve better. So that is the point she came to, the realization that she deserves better, and she's like, I can move on. Then from nowhere she called and she told me she was getting married, and I couldn't put one and two together. So we just had an honest conversation. You know how girls are. And she's like, Maxine, this is some guy who has been chasing me God knows how many times, and I keep giving excuses and all that. And we laughed about it. He said the guy was skinny then, and we laughed, and that was some flimsy because you just didn't want to see beyond the that is what was putting him off about him, exactly. And so she just looked at it. She said after she's broken off the relationship with that wahala relationship, one evening she just was scrolling through her contact list and said, hey, na crachi your home. It wasn't like she was desperate, but she just realized that there's been this guy who's been chasing her all this while, and the guy just thought like, my boy, what is it? I mean, you like me, you don't like me, let me move on. So she she just decided to place a call, which she did. The guy picked up, very receptive. Obi opel, they're not opel. And she said, Maxine, less than 3 months we spoke. I just realized that I can't have everything, but speaking to him was an eye-opener. There was more to him than he just being skinny. And that is the point of revelation she came to. Less than 6 months they were married. They are married with 2 children now. It's like wives, potential husbands, will-be wives are all around us. We can just not see beyond what we see because it doesn't look polished. It doesn't look good to the eye. Can we just see beyond the things that are not pleasant? I am not saying that by this you are saying that, oh Jesus, at this point so you want to settle for anything. No way. Settle for the things that you know will help you become a better person. The next thing that is a bit worrying is that we think it's difficult finding a man because now I am afraid to say this. It's like majority of the men now, I might be wrong, but majority of the men now, I'm choosing my words carefully, it's all about sex. So I met this old schoolmate of mine. She's advanced in age, and I'm like, Julie, have you found somebody? Oh, she said no. And then my man banded the chop and go, and it struck me, chop and go. We can't find them because we find them, and what they are bringing to the table is not things you want to subscribe to. They don't understand that sex must be on the shelf, not now. They cannot. And so if you are not ready to give in and have sex with me, go your front. Ladies who interestingly would want to have more meaningful relationship than just narrowing the whole relationship into sex. And so it's difficult. I mean, you meet guys who are blunt about it. I like you, you like them. Okay, but this is what I cannot do. I cannot stay with you without having sex. And people honestly have struggles with this type. So they can't meet the men who are not for that. And so it finds difficult. But I am posing a question to the men. Are there men around? Please tell me. If you are listening and you are one, you are potential. Are there men around who will put sex on the shelf and say that, okay, can we go beyond sex and just know you properly for who you are? sometimes too is the women who are baby or wild da. There are guys too who are willing to put sex on the shelf. Or you can say, oh, are you sure? Yes, I am sure. There are some few good guys around who are willing not to have sex with women, and the women thinks they are sterile. They are not correct. And so there are women too who are tying men with sex, and the men say no, it's not the way to go. And suddenly they are no crying. If you say it's this way, then you say it's that way. So just like we also have struggles with thinking that what men are about is that they just want to find you and find the sex with you, and then that is it. Same applies to the other divide, where there are also women who cannot just understand that there is men who are willing not to touch them. The next thing I'll say is that I don't like the market experience. When I go to the market, I feel like I want to buy for everybody and buy everybody's thing, which is not possible. But you see, there's always that person you are comfortable buying from. So in as much as there's a lot of tomato sellers all at one place, there's somebody you have identified that you know that this woman, she won't give me bola goose. This woman will give me correct tomatoes. So you always settle. It doesn't matter how nice you have seen all the tomatoes arranged from where you started coming from till the point you got to. Just like you go to the market and you are strong-willed that you know what you want to buy. You know who you want to buy from. If you don't need tomatoes, you are not going to buy tomatoes. But forgive me, there are some women, they don't need to buy. There are some women, once they see tomato, and that's what happens to us. The market is available. There are a lot of men around, good men, hard-working women, confident women, women of substance. But the Christian brothers want the slay queens. They want a mixture, a fusion of akrabonic kakra, and the Christian sisters too wants the womanizing men kakra, read Bible small, who feels like he's the bad boy or who is the bad boy type, and things are going well for them. Does not mean you need a bad boy in quotes. The fact that your brother or your sister is married to some riffraff and they enjoy themselves, maybe that's her. So what I am saying is that it's dependent on you. Know what you want, keep the standard, but look at the checklists and the standards that are unrealistic and do a modification, revise them. We'll be right back.
So we're still here. We're asking you a question. Where did you meet her? Where did you meet him?
Where do you want to meet him?
if you're searching, where do you want to? Where do you want to find him? It's a random thought with Maxine. You can be a part of the program by sending your comment 0543295571. You can as well share in the comment section. You're still here. It's midweek. I think we have a comment here.
Okay.
This person is saying, sometimes it's not about the choosing. We don't know what we want.
No, but you see, that's you know, I grew up thinking that I didn't know what I want. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people who come into your life give you that impression. Oh, who need the open? But trust you me, sometimes you know what you want. Mm-hmm. You know. But it's like the what you want to know is not what you are having. I like as I know the sano. And so it makes you feel like, and it all has to do with checking your list again. There's some people, they like men who speak impeccable English or pedema or tibrofo. And so you meet somebody, maybe the English is enkoyesa, but you know deep within your heart that you always would want to settle with somebody who speaks impeccable English. But this is somebody who is hardworking. And is somebody who is presentable. There are times you meet somebody who is not presentable, but they have a good heart. and you know that you like a fine boy, but you don't like good heart, but you know you like good heart too. So we are just torn between just knowing that what you like is not always what you get, but can you work with what you have now? Just like I sit every day and tell you I like dark boys, obviously I have closed my mind to fair boys. Hey, maybe it's a fair boy I have to marry. Look beyond the color. It's not like I like Ophir. No, like bright, but you know there's something about dark men. But sometimes probably it's time to start being realistic. What if you get a nice fair obroni guy who is not your dark chocolate but is bringing something to the table that probably the dark boy is also bringing, just that he falls short of melanin. That's it. And so we go around thinking all the men have been taken, all the women have been taken, but you know that in that your group, that sister that always sees you off, always will get you lunch. When you go for rehearsal, she's the one who goes an extra mile. Dominic, you can identify. Dominic, that sister who be checking on you, they say, oh, but Dominic is not feeling well. This sister will bring fruits, baskets of fruit, and be checking up on you. And and you know it. I don't know what difficulty you had settling on your wife as your partner for life, but sometimes it's not as easy as we think. There are things that you know that, oh, this is not what I want in a woman, but there are things that the person brings to the table that you think you can work with. I always say this: we have imagined a lot of Prince Charming and princesses in our minds, and there is an ideal picture. There's an ideal picture of who an ideal man is for you, or who an ideal woman is for you. We are not saying that settle for less, not at all. Don't settle for less, but you know that there are things that are workable. When you are on the bench, it doesn't mean you are not good. If you are playing the game of football and selection, it doesn't mean that when you're on the bench, it doesn't mean that you're not good. It's just that you have been reserved for a particular time. When your time comes, you would feature. And so there are people that we have encountered. They are really thoughtful, they are really nice, they go an extra mile, and you are thinking that no, this is not the kind of girl I like. I like somebody with nice shape. She doesn't have what I go for what you like. But when you realize that what you like is becoming unrealistic, you know it. Just like somebody said, Catholic fancy graduates. Unfortunately, that lady died. I'm sure there were she was pretty. I'm sure there were a number of guys who came. Maybe some came, they were fancy, they were not graduates, and they were not Catholics. So obviously out of the list. Some came, they were fancy, they were Catholics, they were not graduates. Some came, they were Catholics, they were not graduates, they were not fancies. And so you look at it and say that, oh, okay, this is what I have envisaged all my life. This is the kind of man or woman I want to live my life with. But now I look at my standards, I look at what I want. She's not as flashy as I would wish. She's not as beautiful as I would wish. The guy is not as hot as I would wish. I mean, we all like hot guys. He's not as attractive as I wish, but he has a good heart. He has potential. Now we are thinking, when I see him, my heart does not go boom, 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 boom. But when I talk to him, he gives me some level of peace. Can I settle with the peace and not look at how boom, boom, my heart will be pouncing when I see him? There's a song like that. And you make my heart go boom, boom. That I can't do. Yeah, that was the song. And so there are times we watch those guys that will see that are hot, or you are looking for that girl that or shed dress and say, damn, this is my girl. But this lady who is bringing you all the basket of fruits and is checking up on you and is, oh bruh, what will you eat? Oh, I was just calling to check up on you. Can you just look at that heart of cold? can you just look at that heart of service? Can you look at that heart of being thoughtful and say that, okay, she's not as hot as I would want my woman to be. She's not as flashy. Sometimes our standards are beyond reasoning. Trust you me. They are just beyond reasoning. I think God will just look at from distance and say, from heavens, and say, my daughter, who taught you this? Or my son, who asked you to think in this way? We expect the package to come in a certain way. People expect to find love in church. Maybe you're supposed to find love in at the party. And so we have narrowed the scope. If it's not a church girl. So I'll share this. I was listening to radio one time, and the pastor gave a testimony about some dream he had in the past. He said in the dream he found out that there was this crate of eggs that was given to him, and it was like 3 different crates of eggs, and on each crate some of the eggs were missing. So it was just like half crate. And it's like, God, how can you give me half a blessing? And he's like, he was battling with it, he was praying about it, and the answer came that your blessing has to be full. I know that, but you have what it takes to make your blessing become full. It is in one lady. And he said, the Lord pointed out Lily. He said, no way. That lady was not her typical definition of an attractive lady. She didn't look flashy, she wasn't beautiful, and she was all dreadlocks, like Rasta lady. And this was a man after God's own heart, was audacious, and like, what will the brethren think of me when I say this is my girlfriend? A lady with locks and sings. And that is it. And he said once, he said, this is where your blessing would be full. For those crates to be filled, she is the reason. She has the keys to filling those crates. And sometimes we look at the outward. Oh, this lady, she doesn't look too, chinenim dodo. Meanwhile, beyond the makeup and things, your blessings are in store. It is in that person. It's only for you to discern the will of God. That is it. We have allowed the physicals, the outward, to blur what the will of God for our life is. Exactly. And we are looking for things. I've told you that I don't want to marry a pastor. I always say that thing. Yeah. But from the way things are looking, I might end up also for my meal. Hallelujah. And sometimes I talk about it, and I have friends, we all talk, like you and I can't say we have had this honest conversation about it. No, they are boring, they will let you pray, you can't dance your dance, when you wear this they will remember that kind of thing. But in my mind, God is thinking, you have not met a pastor who is funky. You have not met a man after God's own heart who is fun. But you are here, and you see that is the standard. That no, there is no way, me, I can't be also for mommy. And somebody told me that she also said the same thing. But from the way it's saying, you say, hey, isn't it Maxine who says she doesn't like what happened? Life has ways of throwing things at us. So just like it, when I probably discern the will of God around this whole subject of no, hey, how can I be also for mommy? We be praying and counseling people, you can't be doing your sins and all that. For all you know, your blessings is just in you being a partner to an osofo. That osofo you have been, that guy you think is too boring, or his dressing, and some of the things are workable. Things like dressing. I know a friend who said his boyfriend was wearing things long like that, and the boy was not funky. Like when you meet those fresh boys, they give you pressure with their dressing. They scratching every time is with t-shirt and things, and she wasn't feeling the vibe. And she went falling for you know how it is like. So if it's what you want, and you think that you need a man who is on point, but a man be also man thing, and that's the part I don't like. I'm being honest about it. There are some guys who are not workable. They are by way, and there are some girls who are not workable. They don't give them. They are not teachable. They don't have a teachable spirit. Like you can't penetrate. You can't get to them. So she just said one thing. So during their wedding, she took it upon herself. This is how I want my man to look. I am into guys who look good. So she took it upon herself. When she goes to town and she sees something nice, she'll buy it for the husband. And now the guy is on point. When they do combine together, and the guy is in sneakers, the woman too, like when we shake and they are vibing. So there are things that are workable, like the way we are talking about how to look and all that. That is if the there are some ladies you are telling, oh, I think you should do it like this. They don't want to. No. It's just an entrenched position. This is how I want to do it. This is how it's done. And there are some guys too like that. And for me, it's a turn off. Guys who have issues that they don't think they have issues. You are trying to work on them, or they are trying to make them see reason with you. They don't want to. Get people that will see reason with you. It's not like you want to change them. But it's just like you know that this would augur well for a relationship. The next thing that we are saying is that we have looked further. We have looked further. We are not looking at our immediate environment. There's always a complaint, and people come and marry our church boys, and they came to marry our church boys, and somebody came from this church and married our church girl, and that is that. And sometimes too, you see, it's just like a prophet without honor. Sometimes the people are just around us and we do not see. So this morning I'll give you an assignment. How we met can also be your story. You can also have that wedding, not settle for less, still keep your standard realistic, and meet that awesome person. You can still meet that beautiful girl, probably the lady who has been serving you the fruit, no? It's the bone of your bone, no? And it's the rib of your rib, oh. But because she's not looking all smashing, and she's not looking flashy, and she's not wearing heels like Maxine is doing, so no. They are pray, future partners. The future partner is in front of you. The partner is in front of you. They are telling you are casting and binding. Who should?
Oh God.
Your wife, behold your wife. Behold your husband. You all know that's your husband, but you don't want you to take your husband. And you are praying, oh God, you are talking to marriage counselors and things. Yeah. And you are going around, you are going for parties you shouldn't be going, just because you want to be noticed. But the person has noticed you. But the point is, it's not easy finding a man. Going into that inbox, that guy who WhatsApped you some time back, just because the person said, priest, how are you doing? Or Brysil, or Pint, and you don't want to hear that. Can you just go beyond the pronunciations? Can you just go beyond the boring? I'm not saying you should marry boring man. No, me, I don't like boring man. But maybe when you do a deeper opening up of yourself, and if the person is also willing to open up, there's more to the person that you will find. Can you look beyond the physicals? Can you search through the heart? I say this on authority that most women have been scammed just because of the standards. We want our men to appear in a certain way. We want the package in a certain form. Men have been scammed just because of the package. The package that looks smashing. There's absolutely nothing wrong with a package looking smashing, looking beautiful, looking flashy. There's nothing wrong with getting a guy who makes your heart go boom, boom, boom. But can we look at the things that makes our standards realistic? It's time to grow up. Can we leave those childhood fantasies? Those, what will my friends say? What will they think of me? And discern the will of God. That is paramount. That is paramount. You might have your standard. Just like in choosing a king, you're like, okay, where are the rest of your brothers? Because they were well built, they looked handsome, they had the physique of what it is. Who anointed them? Jesse, right? Yes. Jesse needed Jesse's children. We needed somebody to anoint them. They said there is one more left. They were not thinking about David. because he didn't look the part. When we are talking about Cain, needed those tall ones, those who fought Goliath and things. He said that is what is said, and that is it. Sometimes we forget the Bible stories because we think they are Bible stories. But when it was time to settle for they knew, they anointed the shepherd boy. For all you know, the one who is walking by you and is looking like the non does not qualify, who does not meet the standard, is the one. It's time to meet the man and say, this is how we met. It's time to meet that lady. Probably you have met already. It's time to pick that phone, go through that list again, call that guy again, call that lady again, see if things have changed, see how best you can work around the things you want to see. The time is ticking, the clock is ticking. Maybe you will have your time right now. Use the opportunity and just call that guy and they are married now. It's time to tell your story. Look no further. It's time to find him. He's around. There are good men around, good women around, godly men around. Do not lower the standard. Keep the standard. But just do away with the unrealistic ones. You know it. The show voice. They're not too dark. They're not too educated. Look at it. Look for potential. Look for a good man with a good heart. That is the whole vibe. Know that this is the person I can vibe with, and you'll be good to go. I'm sure that this advice I've given to you, I've also given to myself. It's practice and preach, not just practice. So me too, henceforth, all those I've not been calling. When I start calling, you know that agenda has been set. We'll be right back.
All right. So we're still here. I know you're also revising your notes.
Hey, revise. Revision time.
Okay. I have a comment here. This person is saying, he said, indeed, it's true. The thing is so close to us, but our eyes cannot see.
Blind people, so
may God open our eyes.
We receive it. We receive. May there be an effata. Is that it? May there be an effata. May there be an opening of eyes. All those eyes that has been closed. This one, see me, I don't see you. Also catch you, crash. Also have me. Now then I'll tell to my brother.
Oh God.
Oh no, I don't know. Oh, Mr. Lala Abalo. J, it's yours.
Eyes be open.
You know, like they say, receive it.
Yeah, I receive.
But there's some things I don't. You know, like you can't say I receive it. They say receive kabna.
Let me hit. Oh God. So we're still here. It's Random Thought with Maxine. We're asking you a question. Where do you want to meet him? Where do you want to meet her? If you found her or him already, it's like, where did you meet?
Oh, you don't like where you met. You don't want it.
Let us know. Okay, share with us. We are sharing experiences. You know that there are times the people that you think are not in your checklist. They are the ones who understand your foolishness.
Yeah.
We jump them and
I say when other two workers like sometimes you just realize that you have entertained some, excuse my language, foolish people in your circle just because there's this someone who there's somebody I want to stop your baby. But you are there. You want to be taking the Panadol and you're going to be taking the paracetamol for somebody who will not do anything with you. Just like I shared with the Christian brothers. Forgive now, I don't know why I'm always from the Christian brothers. The brothers, have mercy on me. I like you, we like you. Don't we like our Christian brothers and sisters? We do. So just like the Christian brothers, this girl you know. Or you are when you were cry or the fruits in never be stressed still. Jeremy, I give you signal. You are not seeing the signal. Hey, please, let's see the signal. Signal me.
All right. So we're still here. It's midweek, and you know how we do it. The time is almost up.
Yeah.
I have this comment here. It said, you need someone who will understand you and someone you can also understand. You don't only need people who are flashy and those who are already self-built.
But you see, it's the flashy that attracts us. It's the self-built that attracts us. Nobody is looking at future prospect. Hey, or a car. Hey, let's say, hey, Mike, hey, no, there be a no. But that is what is usually the turn-offs.
Yeah.
But those are where the potential lies. So then, before then, he wasn't having a car. You leave, no, some woman come to take, no, then he gets car. Then your face will become like, see, hey, Namini so open your car. But because that is it, you are looking at the things that were non-existent then, but forgetting that once the person has potential, once the person is not lazy, once the person is working, they are working very hard to have a meaningful life. I mean, that's a good sign, and I must say. But now of late, I say, whoa. Talk is cheap, eh?
You need to home.
Hey, who wants to be taking treasure with you? When who wants to be hustling with you? Hey, where everyone's well share. Hey. But is it true that there are ladies who do not mind? Who do not mind that, oh, he doesn't have a car, because now the men are making us think like we are all about cars, we are all about where does he work, but they are also good women, but those are the ones you do not like.
No, sometimes you wouldn't even know that these are the ones.
Why? Appearance. Hey,
oh God,
you know, I have a friend, my cousin, he's very kwabna, is that spiritual and prayer warrior thing, and then like, so those times, like, he's still not married, like, kwabna, can't you get any of those girls in your prayer group? Say, hey, I say, hey, can you say this? I'm like, hey, so man of God, yes, man of God, I have taste too. But she's not. But I'm thinking, these are people you do ministry work with. For all you know, there's this girl around who really like. But you say you don't like a hunabobrim. For hunabobrim, I will say it. I will attempt to explain it in tree. Those that you see, then your heart will meet a bit, like you know. Then the show, it's figuratively. This is figure of speech. We are doing English this morning, so that's it. Sometimes they might look like a hunabobrims. They might look like they might look but we kind of say, oh dear, is yours. Can't collect yours.
Oh dear, I don't know.
Oh dear, I don't know.
Yes, oh dear.
I don't know. Hey, me. Tell me, did you ever listen to that prayer on campus? Show me a future partner. Hey, those times campus, you know, for third year, fourth year, when you are coming to finish school, you know, national service. So I mean, that people those who are into ministry, they want to settle. They won't pay fornication. Same there. And if you see somebody who is nice and you think, oh, you can say about I assume you see the brother and sister has fallen. So they started praying. They asked us to invest in prayers for future partners, will be partners, and all that. And it got to a time we're making jokes out of it that there's some guys 4-0 woman your girl. So when the last slap for you to finish lap for you to finish your school, you have to increase the momentum. So you say, hey, show me. I say, hey, show me my future partner, and the future partners still are there. But you be going on the field to be praying for future partners. Hey, the brothers today have prayed prayers, so but
and your brothers no fault.
But see, God will look at us and say, my daughter, behold your husband. That's quite cool for you. Then I say, I reject it.
I want to yell. Oh God. Alright, so it has been a wonderful moment. We're still here. You can share your comments with us. If we're not able to read at this moment, you read later. Share with us in the comment section of our WhatsApp 0543295571. All right, so Maxine, I think that our time is we have to. Any final words for?
All right. So after showing me my future partner, the wait is over. I think some of us have been waiting too long. It's time to revise that checklist again, not to lower the standard anyways. Keep the standard up. Don't settle for anything. Don't settle for less, but know that those good men who needs you are around, and that good woman you need to build that family, that model family, is around. And for those who come around with all this whole sex issue, please, they are not serious people. I'm telling you. I am telling you. See, we have taken in a lot of rubbish. We have entertained some things that you don't have to entertain in this new dispensation. So if a person is coming and they don't want to put sex on the shelf, and they are like, if you don't let me chop you, hey massa, we don't need any chop and go in this era. If it's chop and go, we will stay single and be waiting come whose game is on. This sex game thing is becoming too much for us to take in. It must not always be about the sex. It must be about the person who is responsible and enough to share their life with you. And life is not all about sex. And then know that there are times that we have allowed other people to just slip through our fingers because we had paid attention to things that we are not supposed to. It's time to start paying attention to the things that makes people more deeper than the externals. Okay, the externals is what is keeping a lot of us thinking that we don't know what we want when we know that we want. When you go to that market, when you see that those nice tomatoes, you won't say that, oh, tomatoes is fair. But when you see those ones that are not nice, you don't buy them. Because you know what you want, you know the value, you know why you want to keep those tomatoes, and so you settle for those good ones. When you come here and you find that a big crap, you are angry because you think the person has just scammed you, and so you know what you want, but just that sometimes you don't want to accept the what that is available to you. Work with people who are ready to work on themselves. It's time to tell your story. Don't look far. Just look around you. The person is that close, and make good use of your contact list. Look through that list again. Re-establish contact with that person again. Can you start being nice again when they call you? Hello. Those are all nice ways to start getting back on track, and know that there are still good men around. The ratio, whether 2 to 3 or 2 to don't be in a haste to just settle for anything. I can't be bothered when people say that, oh, you be there be sitting now 3 women is to 1 man. God ordained that we should have 1 man to 1 wife, and you will get yours. You will get the bone of your bone and flesh of her. Have an open mind, be positive, relax, don't be too hard on yourself, have fun, encourage, speak your mind, and just go for gold. Wait no more. Strike.
All right. So have a positive attitude, have a positive mind. Go for gold. Have fun. Hard on yourself. Don't be too harsh on yourself. So this is how you end it here on the midweek edition of Random Thought with Maxine. So I want to say a very big thank you, and God bless you for connecting with us. Thank you for watching. Thank you for doing the listening. We'll be back on Monday.
Yeah.
All right. So Alex just left the studio.
What is he saying?
Today is Alex's birthday. Today happens to be his birthday.
So I saw you leave. I'm like, Alex, this is so not like you. Where is he? Sika, Krista, question the bra.
And so Alex is gone.
Alex is gone.
Yeah, but today is his birthday.
Okay.
So happy birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Alex.
Yeah, we'll meet you here in the afternoon.
We'll punish you.
We'll sabotage this program today.
Okay, we'll see me here this afternoon.
All right, so happy birthday to you, Alex. And we'll use this opportunity to wish all those who are celebrating their birthdays today a happy birthday. All right, so once again, I want to say a very big thank you and God bless you. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook. It's Peny GH. Let's meet same time next week. No, we have to meet on Monday.
It's Monday.
Monday, 10:30 a.m. It's Random Thought with Maxine. Have a wonderful, 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 wonderful week. It is a bye for now.
Bye, people. We miss you.
Yeah.